A date has now been set for the long-overdue ANC Youth League conference. The National Youth Task Team announced that it will take place in March 2020. At the same time, the task team is facing criticism from the ANC Youth League's Revive movement. They're accusing them of being too old and complacent. Natasha Piri has more.
Well, very good afternoon to you, of course, now SABC viewers, and that concludes the briefing by the National Youth Task Team. Of course, I'm joined by the convener, Umamthandi Mahamehlala, and of course, you'll just also take us through the main talking points of the briefing, more especially that you are very confident that the Congress will be held next year in March 2020.
Congress will be held 2020 in March. As we said earlier on, when the ANC gave us this task, there were deadlines to meet, one being to take the Youth League to the Congress in January. And we said and we looked at the realistic dates, and for us a realistic date was March, and we'll be taking the Youth League to Congress, and we are not going to postpone it. Instead, we are working towards that date, and we have no new deadlines that we came up with in our meeting.
Big talking point also is your finances. I mean, you've just said that you're more than capable of actually holding this Congress. How much do you actually have?
The Youth League is financially viable. And besides that, the ANC always contributes to the congresses of all the leagues, whether it's province or it's region. That's the culture of the ANC. The ANC will assist us. I am not going to divulge how much we have, but safe to say that until we conclude everything around a liquidation, our monies are still frozen. But we do have money to take the Youth League to Congress. Once we are done and we get the court to rescind the decision on the liquidation, our monies will be accessible. So we are financially viable as the ANC Youth League.
It seems as if the National Youth Task Team also wants to hit the ground running. You've mentioned the process of the regional assemblies. Talk us through that process, please.
We are going to structures starting in Gauteng this weekend. The broader consultation of young people, it's fundamental for us to be able to kick the ball running and to ensure that we unite these young people where necessary and ensure that political education is also rolled out. The broader consultation of young people, it's fundamental for us to be able to kick the ball running and to ensure that we unite these young people where necessary and ensure that political education is also rolled out. We are going to have regional assemblies because we believe region by region will enable us to be able to interact and interface with young people of the ANC as we are busy renewing, reimagining and rebuilding the ANC Youth League. Also to curb the issue of gatekeeping and so on, we are giving these young people a platform to interact with us so that over and above what we have as a roadmap, which is a program of action that we'll be rolling out, we are able to hear and listen to them so that if it needs be, we try and infuse whatever that it will be raised by the structures of the ANC League to be part of the program. So that is starting here in Gauteng. Friday we are going to meet with the Provincial Executive Committee, and then Saturday, Sunday we are going to regions. That's what we are doing.
Just last question for me, quite interesting names of young female and vibrant ladies who've actually been co-opted into the National Youth Task Team. You've got the likes of Klangi, Tasneem, Precious Banda, who are actually seen as robust. I mean, what kind of contribution will they be actually making?
In the NYTT, we want a bunch of runners because rebuilding, renewing an organization is not a child's play. We don't need people that will sit in their laurels and then the work does not move. So when we identify those young people, we also did not look on the issue of the capabilities they have, but the energy as well, because this process needs energy. Those are young people that we think that they will take us somewhere in terms of rebuilding and meeting the deadlines. They will always be available because they are mobile, they are resourced. We have limited, kind of resources as things stand now. So those young people with their mobility and their availability, we are going to be able to run and build the Youth League and meet the deadlines. And there are instructions of the Youth League, Young Women's Desk, SASCO, and so on. So we wanted to have an inclusive kind of a task team which is reflective of the PYA as well. So that's why we identified such young people and young women in particular, as you have mentioned them.
Thank you so much, and thanks for your time.
Okay.
And that, of course, was the convener of the NYTT, Tani, just talking us through the process and the roadmap to Congress, which will be held next year in March 2020. And as she's said that the ANC Youth League is viable, financially viable, and it seems as if it's all systems go for the Congress next year.